I had a vision that could change the world, but he stole it. He took my idea, my life's work, and tried to claim it as his own. He didn't know, though, I wasn't going to let him win. What he stole from me, I was going to take back. But in a way, he'd never see coming. I was just a kid when I first realized what I wanted to do with my life. It wasn't like most of the other kids who dreamed of becoming doctors or athletes. I had no interest in any of that. My obsession, my passion, was always technology. I spent more time than I care to admit in my basement, surrounded by broken parts, wires, and tools, all scattered on the floor in a chaotic mess. It wasn't glamorous, and it wasn't easy. The basement was cold, damp, and had that smell of old wood and dust. But to me, it was a sanctuary. I didn't come from money. Hell, I didn't even come from a family who really understood what I was trying to do. My parents worked hard, too hard, just to keep us afloat. They didn't have time to support my crazy ideas. I couldn't afford to go to fancy universities or buy the top-tier equipment like the rich kids did. Instead, I made do with what I had, building prototypes out of scrap metal and broken gadgets that other people tossed aside. I knew it wasn't pretty, I knew it wasn't perfect, but I also knew it was real. I'd spend entire nights hunched over my workbench, hands covered in oil, soldering wires, and refining my idea, one tiny step at a time. The world didn't care about me. They laughed at me. I could hear the whispers, the judgment in every corner. People said I was wasting my time. "You'll never make anything that matters," they said. "You don't have what it takes." But it didn't matter. I didn't need their validation. All I needed was the belief that what I was working on could change everything. It wasn't much, but I had something. Something that I believed in so deeply, I could feel it in my bones. I was creating a piece of technology that had the potential to make a real difference. Something that could change how people interacted with the world. It wasn't about fame or money. It was about purpose. Then, one day, he showed up. Mark. He wasn't like the others. At least, that's what I thought. He was a businessman, smooth-talking, wearing a crisp suit, and carrying himself like he already knew he was destined for greatness. He seemed so polished, so confident. He'd been scouting for fresh ideas, looking for the next big thing, and I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the break I've been waiting for. He listened carefully to my pitch. He didn't interrupt. He asked questions, nodded thoughtfully. He made me feel like what I had was worth something. For the first time, someone outside my cramped little world seemed to see the value in my work. He promised me everything: funding, resources, guidance. He said he could help me bring my invention to the world. He told me I was on the verge of something big. It was intoxicating. I thought, this is it. This is my chance. But I should have known. There's a saying that goes, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. And I was too naive to see it. Mark didn't want to help me. He wanted to steal from me. I didn't know it then, but I'd made the worst mistake of my life by trusting him. I remember the day I found out like it was yesterday. I was sitting in my apartment, working late, when I got the email. It wasn't anything unusual at first, just another notification from a business journal. But then my heart stopped when I saw the headline, "Tech Mogul Mark Harris Reveals Groundbreaking New Invention." My stomach dropped. I clicked the link, my hands shaking as I read through the article. And there it was. The prototype I had spent months perfecting, the one I had shown Mark with nothing but trust in my heart, was now being presented as his. Word for word, the article described my technology, the one I had worked so tirelessly to create, his breakthrough. They even included photos of the design, the one I had sketched with my own hands, the one I had put my soul into. He had stolen it. I felt like the floor had been ripped out from under me. My entire world came crashing down in a single moment. How could he do this? How could he take everything from me without a second thought? All the promises he made, all the encouragement, all the talk about partnership, it had all been a lie. He hadn't seen potential in me. He had seen an opportunity to rob me of my work. The worst part? He was already taking credit for it. He wasn't just stealing it, he was flaunting it as if he was the genius behind it. I wanted to scream. I wanted to confront him, to throw it all in his face. But I knew that wouldn't work. He was too powerful, too connected. He had money, influence. I had nothing but the broken pieces of my dreams. But I wasn't going to let him get away with it. Not after everything I had sacrificed. I knew I had to do something. I had to take control. I thought about my next move for days, going over everything in my head. I could feel my anger boiling over, but I knew I had to be smart. I had to think beyond just getting back at him. I needed to win. And to win, I had to play it like a chess game. If I attacked head-on, he'd crush me. If I went public with my claims, it would be my word against his. I needed a way to outsmart him. I started digging into Mark's past. The more I searched, the more I realized he wasn't the man he appeared to be. He'd built his empire by stealing ideas, taking credit for other people's work. He had a reputation for it, but no one had ever called him out on it. That was my opening. I wasn't just going to take back what was mine. I was going to expose him for who he truly was. I went back to the drawing board and started working on a new version of my invention. This time, though, I wasn't just refining it. I was making it better. Better than his version. More efficient, more elegant, more groundbreaking. I knew that if I was going to win this, I couldn't just copy what I'd done before. I had to go bigger. I had to outshine him. I worked day and night, perfecting every detail. Every screw, every wire, every algorithm. I made sure it was flawless. But I didn't stop there. I began making strategic connections, quietly reaching out to people who had worked with Mark in the past, gathering all the dirt I could on him. The more I found, the more I saw the cracks in his carefully constructed facade. He was a fraud, and I was going to make sure everyone knew it. The day I launched my new version of the invention, I knew it was the moment that could change everything. I didn't just put it out there quietly, I made sure everyone knew. I reached out to influencers, journalists, and tech blogs. I even staged a live demonstration, showcasing my product in front of an audience that included some of the biggest names in the industry. It wasn't just a product launch, it was a spectacle. When Mark saw it, I could see the panic in his eyes. His version looked like a joke next to mine. It was clunky, outdated, and half-baked. But the best part? I had done my homework. I had carefully planned every detail to make sure he was exposed for the fraud he was. But I didn't stop there. The final blow came when I publicly revealed his history of plagiarism, how he had stolen the ideas of others, how he had ruined people's lives for his own gain. I took everything I had found and put it out there for the world to see. The media went wild. People were furious, and his empire crumbled in an instant. Mark tried to defend himself, of course. He tried to sue me, tried to cover his tracks, but it was too late. The damage had been done. His reputation was shattered. The company he had worked so hard to build fell apart. In the end, I didn't just take back my invention. I took away everything he had worked for, his credibility, his success, and his future. And me? I didn't need the fame. I didn't need the glory. I had what I needed, my invention, my victory, and the satisfaction of knowing I had beaten him at his own game. The world finally saw me for what I was, someone who had refused to give up, someone who had fought for what was rightfully mine. In the end, Mark wasn't the only one who had a future. I did too, and this time, I was in control.